Good morning, dear students. We are going to talk about writing today. So today's topic is writing, and I'm going to focus on the writing task of the multi-level test. So plan is going to be, we will talk about task 1, the criteria, and we will go smoothly to the task 2 and criteria of it. And then at the end, I will give some recommendations of how to avoid writer's block. So, task 1. In task 1 of multi-level test, you will be given 20 minutes, and within this 20 minutes, you have to write 150 words. And usually, you will be asked to write a letter. A letter could be of different types. For example, in Uzbekistan, let's say, writing a letter is not a common thing, but in foreign countries or in the country of the language that we are learning, writing a letter is a very typical and common thing that you do in daily life. So that's why you have to have the proficiency of writing a letter. Usually, writing itself is a difficult task because it goes to the productive skill. So you have to have a background knowledge in order to write. You have to have a background knowledge of some certain ideas, things in order to write. So if you go to the letter, there are different reasons of why we write a letter. It could be you are complaining, it could be you are giving advice, or you want to share, or you want to know about some kind of news. So, or you want to apply to some kind of job. So it could be the different reasons why you write a letter. And letters layout is, as you know, it should consist of introduction, body, paragraph, and conclusion. So in introduction, so you have to, if I talk about the layout of the letter, usually you have to start with the greeting, and later on I will talk about the types of the letters. The greeting is usually, it depends on the type of the letter you are writing. So here I will mention about the types of the letters. The types are 3. The first one could be, the first one is formal letter, second one is semi-formal letter, and the third one is informal letter. And in formal letter, let's say, so you greet the person with the appropriate greeting. You should say, "Dear someone," his name and the surname, and you have to put the comma. And then in the layout, so it's like an introduction. In introduction, you write the reason why you are writing a letter. And then in the body paragraph, you have to open that reason, giving the details. So I usually call it like, I have named it as a REDS. So you can give, like I have abbreviation for this, a reason, example, details, or statistics. So in a body paragraph of the letter, you have to open the reason why you are writing, or you have to open the problem. Let's say you have bought a product from the local shop, and you didn't like it because the date, the issue date is not valid. So you are writing a letter to the shop assistant, let's say, or to the director, to the owner of that supermarket, complaining about that product. So you start like this: "Dear someone, I'm going to make a complaint on a product that I have bought yesterday." You have to state the date, and then in the body paragraph you open the problem. So you start from the very detail, like for example, you after work yesterday was coming and decided to buy food for your cat, and etc. And then we go to the conclusion. In the conclusion part of the letter, you have to you have to conclude by, for example, if it is complaint letter, you have to say the suggestion. So what do you suggest, or what do you suggest, or you have to say your opinion concerning the problem. Like, for example, if it is a complaint letter, as I have mentioned before, you say, would you like to give my money back, refund the money that I have spent, or would you change that product that I have bought? And then at the end you have to say your name, and accordingly you have to finish the letter accordingly, like by saying your name. It depends again on the type of the letter. Now I would like to talk about the types of the letters independently. So the first one is formal letter. Usually formal letter is written to the person whom you don't know. For example, let's say you are applying to the university and you are writing a letter to the professor whose course you want to take. So you are asking the permission to audit or credit his lesson, his course, so you write a letter, but you don't know the person in person, so you are writing a formal letter. In formal letter, you have to keep the formal language, so no colloquial language, no shortenings are allowed. So you have to keep the formality of the language. So there should be the formal greeting, and then as I have mentioned before, like you have to follow the introduction, body, and the conclusion parts of the letter, and at the end you have to conclude it with your name and the surname, and you have to write your faithfully and comma. So be very much attentive to the punctuation marks. Now we go to the semi-formal letter. In semi-formal letter, you are addressing a person whom still you don't know, but the formality is not so important because it's semi-formal letter. It could be you can be writing a letter to the parent of your friend, or you can be writing a letter to the parent of your student, let's say, and etc. So the language is semi-formal. It's like between the formal and informal, and still you have to follow the rules of like the criteria of writing a letter and appropriate ending. Now we go to the informal letter. This is the last type of the letter. In informal letter, you are writing to your friend, or you are writing to your parents, or let's say you are writing a letter to your neighbor, and that person is very close to you, so you can avoid, you shouldn't be keeping the formality. You can use shortenings, you can use slang, you can use colloquial language, and usually this type of letters are very short. We can say that like typical everyday messages that you write to your father, to your mom, or to your kid can be counted as informal letter. And informal letter also should follow the sequence of the things like appropriate greeting, introduction, body, conclusion, and ending. That's it for the letters. Now we go to the task 2. That is more important. That is more important and more serious, let's say. In multi-level test of writing task 2, you are asked to write an essay, and usually you are given like 40 minutes, and usually you are given 1 hour for the two tasks, for task 1 and for task 2, but you have to separate, and they professionals, let's say, they suggest us to divide it into 20 minutes and to 40 minutes. So we have 40 minutes in our bank to spend for the essay. And this type of the essays could be very different, can have different topics. Imagine when I'm talking about the essay, I'm planning to talk about again layout of the essay, how you have to differentiate the type of the essay, and I will be mainly focusing on the thesis statement, introduction, and other paragraphs of the essay. People students, they say that part 2 is difficult to write, but I don't think so. If you have a proper plan, it's very easy to write. So if we go to the types of the essays, there could be more than 5 types of essays. It could be descriptive essay, persuasive essay, agree-disagree essay, and narrative essay, and there are many other types. I'm not going to focus on the types, but I will give the general structure of the essay so that you can follow and you can implement this structure to different types of the essay. So I'm going to talk about the framework that can be used for all types of the essays. Essay should also consist of 3 parts mainly. They are introduction, body, and conclusion. There is one tendency. So in task 2 of writing essay, you are asked to write 250 words. In task 1 it was 150, but in task 2 you are asked to write 250 words. And if you follow the structure of, if you have in introduction 3 sentences, and when you have a body, there are usually 2 body paragraphs, but it depends on you. If you have more ideas, you can have it 3 or 4, but like let's say it's like 2 paragraphs, it has 2 paragraphs, and in each paragraph 7 sentences, and at the end conclusion also contains 3 sentences. So if you count the amount of the words, there are approximately, it will be 250. So let's talk about the introduction. In introduction, you have to have, so as I have said, 3 sentences. The first of it should be hook. Hook, you know what is hook, right? Hook is something that is could be interesting for the reader, so that the reader decides to continue to read this essay that you have written. So for example, you are writing a descriptive essay about fruits. So, or you're writing, the topic of the essay is like your favorite fruit, let's say. And you would start your essay with a question, let's say. So the hook could be a question, could be a statement from someone, or it could be a quote that somebody said like in the history. So if, for example, you would say, you can say when you're writing an essay about the fruits, you could say, do you want to eat strawberry in December, let's say. So this is a question, and in December in our country it might not be possible to find strawberry, or if it is like possible, it could be very expensive. So the reader will decide to read the continuation of the essay. So the hook should be interesting so that it captures the attention of the reader. The next sentence, or the sentence that comes at the end of the introduction or in the very beginning, you can also state it. It doesn't matter, but you have to have it. It's thesis statement. Thesis statement is very important sentence in introduction. Moreover, it's very important for you to construct the whole essay. If you don't have the thesis statement, it will be very difficult for you to manage your time, manage your ideas, and etc. There will be like a lot of problems so that you can have if you don't have the thesis statement. Thesis statement is a very important sentence in an introduction part. So it could be a very first sentence in the middle. It can come in the middle, or it could be the last sentence of the introduction. Thesis statement itself should consist of 3 things. The first one is topic. The second one is author's attitude toward the topic, and the last one is points. So we go back to the topic that we have chosen. So we are writing about the fruits. So let's say I will say the thesis statement for the essay, which has the topic of fruits. Apple. So the apple is my favorite fruit, so that's why I'm going to write about the apple. Apple is useful fruit as it keeps the iron in balance and helps to digest. So you see, this is one sentence, and it has a topic. Topic is apple. And author's attitude. I think that apple is very useful. That's why I'm writing. The apple is useful fruit. This is my attitude. This is author's attitude. And the next ones are the points. The first one, it helps to digest, and then it keeps the iron in balance. So these are the 2 points that I'm going to open in the body paragraph. So you see, I have a topic, my attitude toward the topic, and 2 points to open in the body. So this is a very good thesis statement. Thesis statements could be of different types. Like there are 2 types of the thesis statement. The one is the open one. The second one is the closed one. In open, like the one that I have given, the example that I have stated is example for the open thesis statement. When you have to have like all parts of the thesis statement. But the closed thesis statement is when you don't say. So you would say, this essay will cover this, like you would say, for example, this essay will talk about the useful sides of the apple. But you don't say how it could be useful. So this could be the example for the closed type of the thesis statement. And so we have covered the introduction. Now we go to the body. So as I have mentioned, there could be 2 or more than 2 body paragraphs. In the first paragraph, like each body paragraph should have a topic sentence. It is the first sentence in a body paragraph. So if we talk about the body paragraphs, each body paragraph should consist of topic sentence, and so for example, you are giving the topic sentence and you have to prove why. You have to persuade your reader so that the reader believes in what you are saying. So for example, I have a topic sentence as it was mentioned in the thesis statement. I'm going to talk about how apple can help to digest. So I can give statistics, or I can give an example from my own experience, let's say, or I can give a reason why, and I can give a detail, so that I have to prove why apple helps to digest. So the assistance of the apple in digestion should be indicated in the first sentence, that is topic sentence, and then I have to give the examples so that I prove that, like, exactly if you eat apple, the digestion metabolism will be okay. And then I have to finish the first body paragraph. The ending sentence of the first body paragraph should conclude the body paragraph and should kind of give a hint to the second paragraph. So it should give a very little introduction to the next paragraph. In the next paragraph, things happen the same. So you give the topic sentence. For the next paragraph, my topic sentence would be about how, if eating an apple, how I will have a lot of iron in my body. So this sentence should be indicated in the first sentence as a topic sentence. So, and then I have to continue proving why it is like this. And then the turn comes to the conclusion. In conclusion, so I have indicated apple from the very beginning. So I have talked in introduction about apple, and then I have opened why apple is useful. And if in the conclusion you would say, I also like a watermelon, it's not very good way. You have to conclude with what you have said before. So you have to conclude about the apple again. So because of the information I have given above, apple is a useful fruit. So you have to paraphrase it, but the main idea should be like this. There is one, there is a secret of writing task 2. So you have to state what you want to say, You have to say it, and then at the end you have to say what you have said. This is a very good, like I can say, this is a very golden rule of writing. So now I want to talk about how you would differentiate the type of the essay. So is it agree-disagree, argumentative essay, or is it descriptive essay, and etc. So the essay question of task 2 consists of 3 parts. First part is a statement. Second part is a question. Third sentence is a task. For example, Some people believe that children nowadays should spend their free time in an organized manner, but some people think that children should spend their free time anyhow they want. So this is a statement. Then comes the question, do you agree or disagree? Or with which point you agree with? And the last one, this is like a question, and the last one, it would ask you to write. Please indicate your point and open it with your examples. So you should be very attentive to the question. So you have to pay attention to the question. So you pay attention and you find out what type of essay is it. So this essay that you are going to write is agree, disagree, argumentative type of essay. So in order, and now I would like to talk about how to write successfully, how to avoid writer's block. So it's called writing block. So whenever you want to write, you postpone, but the deadline is tomorrow, and tonight till 12 or till 3 o'clock, you will be writing. This is very bad habit. You have to start early. You should start very early. You have to have a plan, and then after writing, you have to have a plan. So usually, if the deadline is next month, you have to start it from the very beginning of this month. And you have a plan, and you step by step, you follow the plan. First, you have to find the information. If you don't have the information according to some kind of topic, it's very difficult to write. So that you have to have a research. You have to search the internet, find the information, go to the library, and you should have a very strong background knowledge about that topic. Now you have the information, you read, so you have the information, and then you start writing. So how you can avoid? You have to keep the habit of writing. It's not important to write a task or an assignment. You just write a journal or a diary in an everyday manner. For example, you write a plan of your day, or you have to maximize the amount of the messages that you are writing to your wife, to your husband, to your kids, to your mom, so that you don't have the block of writing. It's called free writing. So you write a lot, but it's not an assignment. So if it is an assignment, you would think it's a serious thing, you would be afraid, and you would have the block of the writer. So in order to avoid, you have to write free writing. It's called a free writing. And in order to improve the free writing, you should write in a daily manner. You have to write a message, you have to write an email to your friends, and you have to write a diary. That's it. If you have any questions, you can leave them after the video. Thank you. Bye-bye.